doing that. Let's look at what makes us distinct or unique, not necessarily superior, because we can have competitors out there that do a great job, but what makes us who we are and how that adds a level of uniqueness or authenticity to it. So my team discovers the uniqueness and differentiation that a company has. We then help name that differentiation. After that, we then share that with the world, starting with their team, so that the team understands it. And what I find very, very inspiring is that when you share it with the team and you celebrate it, they start to see that they actually have a meaning in their life. They actually think, oh, what I'm doing is actually significant. So it's a beautiful process. It's very positive, but it all focuses on that word, differentiation.
So what I'm getting from you is that it's differentiation, it's what makes you unique as a company or as an individual, and what makes you stand out from among the rest. Because we live in a very high competitive society in business, even in the workplace, and everyone is trying to differentiate themselves from others, not just on a personal level, but also in the business world as well.
Yes. Today, think of the companies that you consider buying a product from and how often they're promising exactly the same things. They say, oh, we're high quality and we have great service and we have really interesting technology and there's value and there's et cetera, et cetera. And they all use the same words. And why would you buy from one company or another? My approach is let's pick the words that we use to describe what we do. Let's make sure they're unique. Once we do that, let's share that with the most important people, including our customers, because it's too easy to sound and look and act like everyone else.
Absolutely. So what types of differentiation do we observe in the marketplace? Because I know I'm well familiar of product differentiation. Can a company differentiate themselves as well?
A company can, yes, because there are many things, and I'll share a few examples. There are companies out there that have a customer experience. In other words, they have a customer treatment, a customer process that is very, very unique, very personal to how they deal with their customers. So that's one example. There are engineering companies out there that engineer their products with extraordinary precision. And they go through extra steps and lengths to ensure virtual perfection in what they're doing. Okay, that's a differentiation. There are food companies, bakeries that have a particular ingredient that they pay extra money to acquire to put in their bread so that it has a softer, smoother, more sweet taste. Okay, all these things are differentiations. But if you don't watch out, you're going to do all of that, and there will be no value to it in the eyes of the people who choose your products because they don't even know it's in there. So it's kind of like the old saying, where if the tree falls in the forest and nobody is there, did it make a sound? I look at the same way with differentiation. If you're doing something unique and special in your product and or your brand, but nobody in the world knows about it, are you really unique? That's what we have to do. We have to identify it. We have to realize it's in there. We just have to find it.
Wow. So thank you for describing those examples. And also, yes, we can be unique, but if people don't know about our uniqueness, that doesn't really add up to the profitability of a farm. So we see that there's product differentiation, there's also company differentiation. What about service differentiation or content differentiation?
Service differentiation is the way that we deal with our customers. So if we don't do anything special, then we have no differentiation in that area. If we offer a return policy, let's say like Amazon does, that differentiates what Amazon does, which is you can return virtually anything for almost any reason. Okay, well, that's different. If you have a very personal relationship with clients where a client will know that you are their service representative. And every time they have an issue, they go directly to you. Well, that's a differentiation. They know your name. They know who you are. You're comfortable with them. So service can be that way. A very good example is in the automotive industry. If you buy a certified pre-owned car, that means it's a used car, but it has gone through a 100-step inspection to ensure that all 100 parts that were looked at are in great working condition. So you are now giving that customer a level of confidence because you did that. That's a differentiation. And by the way, you can charge a little more money for that because it's worth it.
Wow. So is there a component of value and quality when it comes to differentiation?
Well, there's value, there's quality, and there's also pricing that is influenced, because if you can differentiate, you add to the value of your product, and all of a sudden you're not like everybody else. You can have great products, and this is what I said earlier in the show. It's not superiority. It's uniqueness. So in the motorcycle industry, you have BMW motorcycles, which are great precision machines. You have Harley Davidson, which is a client of ours, and they're phenomenal. And their product is very beautiful. The design is extraordinary, and they offer a customer experience that is amazing. You can be part of their Harley owner group, and it's an experience unlike anything else. So you look in that industry, you can buy a really good BMW or a really good Suzuki bike, and that's great. Or you can purchase a Harley Davidson if it is of importance to you to have a design like their design is, to have a sound like their engines have, to be able to have a almost family-like community when you become an owner. It's all up to what you want, but you know what? Once you determine that there is a brand that has what you want, you're willing to spend a little more money because it's worth it.
Well, I like the fact that you said when you talk about differentiation, it's not about superiority, it's about uniqueness. Because most times people have the wrong intention of trying to differentiate themselves from another company. It's because they want to be superior. And if that is the motive or the incentive of you developing a quality product, of offering a quality service, it's because you want to be superior rather than trying to be unique, trying to stand out. That's a very profound insight.
I think a way to look at it is so many people at so many companies say, oh, we're the best. We're the really best in the world. Oh, we're the greatest. And that means nothing. That means nothing. People just brag about it. I don't even hear it when they say it. I want to know, what is it? What's behind what you do? What makes it unique? Is it engineered to a higher level of tolerance? Does it include a customer experience that is extraordinary, unlike anyone else? What is it? Then all of a sudden, in my opinion, as a consumer, I may think you're superior. I may think, hey, you're the one I want. But don't tell me you're the greatest or you're the best or you're the cheapest or you're the whatever, because keep in mind, everyone else in your segment is likely saying exactly the same thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's get to your book. If somebody's interested in getting a copy of your book, what do you think they should expect?
What I think when you take a look at the book and read it is you'll find a few things. I think it's very easy to read. It's a very entertaining book in that it's about a lot of different people who explored and discovered and found their differentiation, and they were able to spread that message throughout their enterprise and into their customers' hearts and minds, as well as their employees' hearts and minds. So it's filled with stories. It has a wide range of interesting topics that range from the value of words. You know, there are 200,000 words in the English language, yet we use the same 5 or 6 for most companies, you know, service, value, quality, selection, price, whatever. There's a section of the book on how to collaborate. It's called jam session, like a musician's jam session, because I'm a former rock and roll musician. So we share that. There's a section on there about technology, how to utilize technology to demonstrate your uniqueness. And there are sections on our proprietary process, which is a differentiator for our company. It's called brand re-engineering, and it's the 5 steps we take to determine and promote what makes a brand unique and distinctive. So it's chock full of all that kind of information, very easy to read.
So is it a book that is applicable to every industry?
It is applicable to every industry, as we work in the automotive industry, the motorcycle industry, the food industry, and even working with a AAA minor league baseball team. All of it applies because it's the same big picture of what makes you a little different and why are you doing what you're doing. And by the way, why aren't you sharing that message? That's what it's all about.
So what makes you different, identifying what makes you different, align your product, your organizational culture, your services to what makes you different, and also sharing out there so that people know about it.
Right. And one of the questions when we are in our first step of our 5-step process is we ask customers as well as employees, what should this company not change? So we're looking into the things that make things unique or companies unique. The question is, what should they not change? And you start to learn, they go, oh, well, don't change your customer service because it's amazing. Or don't change the way that you engineered this product and you're able to do such and such. Don't change the taste of that one product because it's real. You start to learn these things. You go, wait a minute, you've got something special here. Are you focusing on it? Are you promoting it? Are you considering eliminating it? Because if you are, you better not eliminate that. That's one of the very few things you're doing that stands out. So it's identifying those things that are right in front of you. In some cases, the things that a company's been doing for decades, if not over 100 years, and stepping back, showing some honor to it and saying, you know what, this is good. Instead of getting rid of it or ignoring it, let's focus on it a little bit and let's start, sharing that story. I don't want to say bragging, but let's let people know what it is and why. It's a very positive experience. It's so different from saying, hey, in my case, let's say, I'm here to help you with your brand, and we're going to change a lot of things, and we're going to tear a lot of things up, and we're going to cause a lot of uproar, and it's going to be ugly, but we're going to create a brand new brand for you. And we're going, we don't want to do that. We're going to do the opposite. We're not coming in to create a brand new brand. We're there to discover what's been inside your product and brand for years, and then let's magnify that.
Interesting. So let's say a young entrepreneur or a small or medium-sized business is trying to create a differentiation strategy, or, as you said, discover what is already there and to be able to differentiate.
Well, what's really important in discovering differentiation is that it's a team sport. It's not one person. It's not a solo activity. So when we help customers discover their differentiation, we enlist virtually everybody involved. So employees, leadership at the company, suppliers, customers, sometimes former customers are great to learn why did you work with them and why are you not working with them. And when we do that, we learn a lot. The next thing we do, so that's step one. Next thing we do is what we call a technical immersion. We go inside that company, either physically or virtually, and we learn what are they doing. We go through their process. We look at how they're building a product if they're a manufacturer. We look at their technology if they're in the software business. We look at what their experience is if they're in the service business. We look at it, we break it down. And our team, like investigative reporters, we're digging in and we're starting to ask questions. We're going, okay, you do this every time you produce this product. They go, yes. Okay, does anyone else do it? And usually we'll hear, I don't know. We might be. I don't know. Okay, we'll say, well, You may be unique there. We dive into those things to learn the 2, 3, 4, 5 unique differentiators. We're not looking for 100. We're looking for 2 or 3, maybe 5 at the most. And once we do that, and we all decide as a team, that's the leadership at the company, my team, etc., we go, okay, it's these 3. Let's name these. Because, those of us that have children, you don't have child 1, child 2, and child 3. You name your children, and you have stories behind why you named them. And then you tell stories about what those individual children are like. Okay, it's the same way with your differentiators. It's the uniqueness of each one of those and why you named it that and what it is and why it's done that way. Once you do that, which is the second step, you get to the third step, and that is you put a plan together. Okay, how do we promote this? And what do we need to do? Do we need a website? Do we need to do social media? Do we need AI? What do we need for this to help promote this? And once we decide that, we go to step 4, because that's step 3. And step 4 is you start to execute. You put the ideas together. That's where most people start. That's why most people fail at their branding efforts. They start with, hey, let's do a new logo. Hey, let's do a new website. And it's like, okay, let's stop for a moment. What's our message, right? So you go to the 4th stage of execution, put it all together. The 5th stage is really exciting. It's when you launch it. And as I've said 3 times, I think so far, you celebrate it with the most important people first, which are your employees, your team, your supporters. Then you spread it out to customers, suppliers, and ultimately to the world out there. So those are the 5 steps. You talk to human beings, if I recap here. You then look into stuff, things. What are the different steps? What are the procedures, the processes, the metallurgy, whatever it is that you're doing that could be unique? You go to the 3rd step of, okay, let's put a plan together on how we could actually share that message. And then we get into execution for the 4th step, which is, okay, so if it's a website or a logo, whatever, we name it, whatever it is, and then we launch. And again, like I said, we make it a team sport. We say, hey, team, get together, let's rally around this, and then let's start telling the world.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Barry, for sharing these profound steps. And I know they're going to be very, very helpful to the audience. So in case someone is interested in getting a copy of your book, where's your book published?
The best way to reach me or to acquire a book is to go to my website, which is barrylabov.com. One word, Barry Labov, L-A-B as in boy, O-V as in victory.com. And you can actually click on there and get a free PDF of the book if you'd like it. Or if you want us to send you a hardcover, we will send it to you. You'll give us your address, and I believe it's $7.50 for shipping and handling, whatever our handling costs are, and we'll ship it to you. Otherwise, you can go directly to Amazon and get it the next day if you have Prime, and enjoy the book. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, as well as my website. I speak to people on a weekly basis who are on podcasts with me and have heard me on podcasts, and I'm happy to help anybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Barry. Before we wrap up, I usually like to ask my guests to share with me their 3 transferable skills that they have acquired that somebody can apply in their professional life and your business life.
3 skills. There are 3 that I'd like to share. Number 1 is what we talked about today. Look for the uniqueness and strengths in people. Look for them, whether they're children. I used to coach baseball. I found the talents of the little girl at second base or the kid that was a great third baseman or whatever. You find the talents, identify them, and celebrate them with people. Let them know that you see that they do something actually really good. All right? Not to manipulate them, not to get something out of them, just because. Okay? So that's one. Another is allow yourself to be imperfect. If you make mistakes, don't beat yourself up. Allow yourself room to fall down and get yourself back up. One of my good friends, Jacob Brown, says fail forward, which means when you fall down, get back up and keep moving forward. And I think that's a great one. And the other one I think is really good is to show patience, which is something I've had to learn over the years. Things will not happen on my schedule or perhaps other people's schedules, but most of the time they're going to happen. Show a little patience. So those are the 3 skills.
Wow, wow, patience. That's very interesting. I mean, well, I like patience as well, but thanks for sharing that. I know you're an author already, and I'm pretty sure there's some books that you have read that have really, really helped you a lot. I'm just asking for 3 because I'm a book lover, so I'll be able to read them myself and the audience.
There's a great book called Song of Significance. It's all about the value of people. I think that's a great book, Song of Significance. There's a fantastic book called Outliers. Outliers. It's a great book. It's all about unique cultures that are out there, unique situations where people succeeded. And the third book is the Bible. I've enjoyed the Bible. I've read it 3 times. I did not read it in order, but I read it 3 times, and it impacted my life.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Barry, for sharing those 3 transferable skills and those books I recommend. I've heard about Outliers, the Bible for sure. Yeah, that's the manual for life.